makers, and welcome back to my channel. This is Brianna, the Mahogany Maker, and today we're making butter bars. Now, I like to call them butter bars, but they're more commonly known as lotion bars, and they're super nourishing and hydrating to the skin. So we're going to jump right into it today, and I'm going to be showing you how to make them with 4 simple ingredients. You can use a variety of different molds and shapes or sizes that you like. Today I'm going to be using these cute little B-shaped molds that I got off of Amazon. And I'm also going to be showing you how to package them for easy use, okay? So first things first, we're just going to jump right in. We're going to be using cocoa butter, shea butter, sweet almond oil, and beeswax. Now, I like to use cocoa butter because it's excellent for healing rashes. It's deeply moisturizing for the skin, and it's really rich in fatty acids and vitamin E, which are all great for hydrating very dry skin. And so I use this recipe on my children who have a range of different skin conditions, from eczema to just really dry skin. My husband has another type of skin condition, so we just use these all around, okay? Now, beeswax is also great for this recipe because of its excellent properties for soothing eczema flares, which is why it's here. It's also essential for the glide of this butter. It helps it to hold that really firm shape, but also helps it to melt onto the skin at a really good temperature without having to rub and rub and rub, okay? Now, you can get beeswax in a variety of different methods, but I'm using beeswax pellets today. They come in yellow and white, so just choose your preference. I'm also adding in some sweet almond oil, as I said. This is a wonderful oil that I love to use for its anti-inflammatory properties. It's also rich in antioxidants, which helps to prevent aging, premature aging to the skin. So that's always a great thing to add in. And of course, we gotta have some shea butter, okay? We have to have shea butter because it's wonderful, okay? It's just wonderful for the skin. It's also anti-inflammatory, and it has some really powerful antifungal properties as well. So we're going to use all of these great ingredients blended together to produce this wonderful product that I love to use for myself and, again, just on my children. It's very popular in my store, and I can't keep them on the shelves, y'all, okay? I make them unscented as well as 2 other scented options, and they just fly. So once you get everything all weighed out and measured out into your bowl, you'll want to melt them down. Now, you can do this one of 2 ways. I prefer to use the double broiler method, which is just setting a pot of boiling water on the stove and then putting this bowl on top of that and allow it to just melt from the heat from the water beneath it. But you can also use a microwave. I know that people don't like to use microwaves because they feel like the properties evaporate faster, but if you do it properly, it can be done. So I recommend using 30-second bursts in the microwave. Take it out, stir it, and then do another 30 seconds until everything is fully melted and incorporated. Now, once it's all melted, then you can go ahead and pull out your molds and get ready to pour. Now, before you pour them, you'll want to not do what I did, which is I began pouring on just into the mold, but you'll want to put something underneath it so you can move it around, because you will need to move them. Okay, so I just got like a little cake pan and I stuck the mold right on there, and then I poured it in, okay? So that first one I poured is unscented. I'm making that for my newborn. Well, he's not a newborn now, he's about 9 months, but I'll be using that one on him. And then the other one, these are the 2 scents that I stock in my store, the cocoa butter cashmere and the oatmeal milk and honey. I get both of them from Virginia Candle Co. I'll also link them down below. They're excellent. They have affordable pricing and a variety of succulent little scents, okay? So y'all go check them out. All right, so once you get them all separated, I did separate the batch into 2 since I was going to scent them. So that's what you see me doing here. I'm pouring those out and then adding the proper amount of fragrance oil. You want to watch your fragrance amounts because you want to keep it skin safe, okay? So once you have all of that out, you want to stir them to get it really incorporated, and then you'll start your pour, okay? Now, once you pour, you need to pour pretty quickly because beeswax starts to cool really quickly. And you'll see here a little bit further down that the beeswax is already starting to form that little cast on the container that I'm using. So you want to pour quickly, efficiently, but also with a steady hand so you don't have it all over the place. I like to fill mine to about the halfway mark, which allows me to have a 1 ounce bar, even though these molds hold roughly about 2 ounces. You just fill it to your preference, okay? This recipe was for 12, so for a dozen. And I can put in the description box below also, if you're interested, where I input those numbers so that I can get the different batches. Yeah, so it's a free source, free website tool that I use every day probably. So I will gladly share that with you all. And yeah, y'all let me know if y'all are interested in making these, if you've tried making them before, and if you're having any issues, let me know below so we can troubleshoot together. And I can still give you some suggestions or tell you, some of the things that you can do to improve the outcome. Now, once you have them all filled up, you'll want to temper them, especially because they have shea butter in them. You see how they have that pretty little partially solidified look right now, and these have not reached that point. You'll want to wait until they get to that partially solidified status before placing them into the freezer, okay? That really allows the shea butter to temper itself out so that it's not grainy when you're trying to rub it onto your skin. Now, this is what I was telling you about as far as packaging options. I love these cute little aluminum tins. Again, I get this right off of Amazon, and I put these little cake molds in here, or the cake liners in here, cupcake liners. I love them. I used to use coffee liners, but found that I was, kind of like wasting too much when I would cut them down to size. So the cupcake liners are perfect. I use the craft ones as well as the white ones, and I just separate them by the scents that I use. It's totally your preference. You can use them, not use them, or use something totally different. These are really cute, and my customers love them. So I just use some scissors, and I trim off the excess for, the different sizes that I'm using, or the one size that I'm using for the different containers, and that's it. It's very simple. It's cute. It looks adorable. Now, I didn't record me popping them out of the mold, but you'll want to do this while they're still cold and right out of the freezer or the refrigerator. That way you don't compromise the shape while they get warm and start to heat up in your hands, okay? You can also add a cute little circle label on top. That is what I do. And after that, they're ready to go. If you are going to try this recipe, this formula, let me know in the comments below. I love to hear from you and how it worked out.